Welcome back everybody, it's Epsilon Eridani here, and we just managed to find a contradiction to Emma's testimony. So let's see what's this all about. What are you talking about? If the defendant was actually the murderer, the blood would have got on the clothes he was wearing. And at the time he was wearing this uniform, not a robe. But he was wearing a robe when we found him. The entire investigation team and I can confirm that. The real murderer
Objection!
I didn't have a chance to read it. Okay. I must give you credit. I didn't think you'd pick that up. Huh? Oh, thanks. Boing. Of course, you're still only a little red horn, green horn. After all, you did just do my job.
Something tells me this isn't going to be good.
From the way Chambers described her, it's never going to be good with Poole. The traces of blood clear up all other contradictions. Here is what happened. Chambers first came to Clooney prison with the guard uniform over his head. He shot the victim in the forehead and used the uniform to stop the blood. Although there was still blood splatter, the uniform prevented any blood from spilling while depositing the body in the nearby forest. Afterwards, he came back to the cell to clean up the blood and wipe his fingerprints. However, he realized the enormity of what he had done and passed out.
That sounds like a pretty solid argument.
And there aren't any contradictions. This is what we gathered from Miss Sky's testimony. Robert Erlenmeyer is undoubtedly dead, and the defendant is the primary suspect because A. He was found on the crime scene. B. His fingerprints are on the murder weapon. C. There was blood on his clothes. And D. We have a witness.
All this does sound convincing.
Hey, I'm just getting started. Uh-oh. In addition to all this overwhelming evidence, the defendant had a crystal clear motive. This guy, if you would please testify about it. One motive coming right up. The defendant would only have infiltrated a prison to kill a convict with good reason. And with better reason than revenge. The victim had murdered his brother. Still, Erlenmeyer got off with a lighter sentence than expected, even with Chambers as a judge, which is why, dissatisfied with the verdict, he decided to render his own. You may begin the cross-examination. Okay, let's see. Agreed. But we don't actually know if he's a criminal. True, but he still infiltrated the prison. That fact speaks for itself. Besides, why else would you sneak into a prison? Well, I don't know, to discuss with a prisoner to obtain unofficially the truth. If the guy who is in the prison is unwilling to tell the truth in court, he might be willing to tell it in private. Well, don't even think of answering that question unless you have the evidence to back it up. What better reason? Well, like I said, I gave you a better reason. But I cannot disprove that that is a possible motive. The defendant's brother was Arthur Chambers, correct? Yes. I knew him personally, and let me say that even though on the surface, Judge and Arthur often quarreled, they had a deep relationship and were very close. Many siblings are like that. The defendant was devastated by the murder of his brother. I kept a letter he sent me about it. I see. Can I see the letter? I also wrote down conversation we had on this matter.
She's a bit neurotic, isn't she?
No, she's just thorough. She wants to have a good collection of facts of all her discussions with other people. In addition, I have recorded phone calls in which he said this world would be a better place if Erlenmeyer wasn't in it. Okay, that gives more motive, but that's just talk. That's more like venting, and this is also a private discussion, right? So you really cannot say that he actually did the deed. I think we get it. It's like she knew this trial would come and has been preparing her whole life. I believe just about any older sibling would. Not necessarily, but okay, let's just roll with that. Would feel the same way in the defendant's place. But the defendant was a judge, which changed things a lot. Why did the victim receive a lighter sentence? Yes, this is what I was also wondering. Well, the defense attorney proved he was deranged. So the question became, should we kill him because of his mental disorder? What is this, Germany in the 30s? That might be what you or an average person could think, but Chambers was close to the victim. If someone murdered your family in front of your eyes, if someone did that, would you want to get retribution no matter what? No. No matter what is quite a pretty strong statement. Because if you say no matter what, that would include, I don't know, being willing to kill people to get your revenge. I don't know, being willing to kill people you are close to, for example. No, that's not what I would do. Could that have affected why she thinks Chambers is guilty? That doesn't matter right now. What does matter is that judge would never take someone's life, no matter what. Indeed. Good that we are on the same page, Apollo. Now I just gotta prove it. No, this is not a fact. This is just a speculation. I would say objection here, but let's see. Why would an old man like the defendant suddenly decide to become some sort of vigilante hero? Yeah, exactly. The motive is not enough for, in my opinion. You need to have some. Okay, they have some circumstantial evidence, and they certainly have enough to push for a verdict. But I'm just waiting someone to slip up. So implying the defendant's age means he is less likely to be the culprit, but the opposite is true. Because he is old, he would have nothing to lose if he were caught. No, I don't. Look, he has mentioned he has grandchildren. He would lose access to them, and his children also if they are alive. Besides, he didn't suddenly and spontaneously change. Emotional trauma, like the death of a loved one, can change people. She's bringing psychology into this, and I won't be able to beat her with that. Oh yeah, I forgot, did someone mention it? She has a secondary degree in psychology or something like that? I thought I can beat her with this evidence.
So, Erlenmeyer's past is coming back to haunt Judge.
It's a legitimate no motive. Yes.
But it's not the right one.
True.
And we know what his real motive was for going to prison. So, hurry up and present it.
Okay, do we actually have it? Oh yes, I forgot this. But how can I present non-existent letter? Okay, it's gonna be difficult. Yes, it's a letter. Okay, what better reason revenge? Okay, let's see. I believe it's this one, which proves that Chambers was following instructions. Let's save. It might not be this one. It could be. It might be this one. Dissatisfied with the verdict, he decided to render his own. No, he was following the instructions, so maybe I should put it here.
Objection!
I guess not. Your Honor, that statement contradicts the evidence. Really, let me see it. Why, you're right. This is unheard of in this courtroom. You single-handedly turned the case around with this piece of evidence. Okay, it would be nice if this was actually true, but I hear the music still. Didn't I? Of course you didn't. What is unheard of in this courtroom is your credulity, Mr. Justice. You deserve this penalty. Thanks. My ego, it hurts. Okay, it's this one. What better reason than revenge? Fine.
Objection!
What? Penalty? What? I haven't said anything yet. But you were definitely going to say something ridiculous, weren't you? Actually, No, I was just saying this is the evidence. It's not that ridiculous. Okay, which is why I decided to prevent you from further embarrassing yourself. You should be grateful. Thank you, Your Honor. Boyoing. Though I am embarrassed now. Okay, I'm a dumbass. I think it's this one. Okay, let's see.
Objection!
Yeah, okay. This is what it takes. Third time's a charm, always. The defendant did have a good reason for entering Clooney prison. And it wasn't murder. This is the only way. I have to do this. Police is going to rip my case to shreds, but the jury just might believe me. So, what is this other motive? Chambers told me something very interesting when I spoke with him yesterday. And yeah, the prosecution is going to have a field minute with this when she realizes that I don't have any concrete evidence, it's just his words. I don't have any physical evidence here. Let's see. It was Christmas Eve. I received a letter from Erlenmeyer. He promised he would explain everything to me if I came to visit him. The gun, the uniform, they were not my idea. I received them in a package along with a letter. They were part of Erlenmeyer's conditions. The whole setup was a trap. The real killer lured Chambers to Erlenmeyer's cell with a gun, drugged him, and then framed Chambers. But who is the real killer? Wait a second. But it's not gonna be friggin' Meekins, it makes no sense. And I don't think it's my aide, Rea, either. Or the judge himself is... Oh, okay, of course he's innocent. Emma is not there, so it must be really elaborate suicide. Chief Justice. It's not gonna be this guy. It's I don't see any connection. He's dead. And this would be Wild Ride if... Oh, I haven't seen these two yet. Okay. There's Gerald Strings, 28 male, New Jersey Town Chief Justice's son. And Jessica Poole, age 67, veteran prosecutor, and used to be lovers with judge. would be quite a twist if she was the killer. But let's see what's going on. My, what an interesting tale. Of course. That's all I'll think ever. Of course. That's all I'll ever think it is, unless you have some hard proof. What happened to this letter? Well, it's burned. I was told to burn the letter as soon as I read it. In other words, the defendant claims to have been framed and all you have is his word. Yes, this sucks. Unfortunately, yes. If we judge people based solely on their word, a lot of criminals would be on the streets right now. Yes, but you have to use this principle called innocent until proven guilty. And don't forget that we both found no drugs in the defendant's body, so he couldn't have been drugged. Shit. Okay, there goes one part of my story. So, if he wasn't drugged, was he hit in the back? No. There wasn't any visible injuries on Judge, right? Not that I think of. I mean, they had a medical... Yeah, he had a medical examination, and I quote, he was fit as a fiddle. So what? How did he lose consciousness then? Yes, my thoughts exactly. Ha, you are fraud. No other defense attorney would even dream of presenting an argument as flimsy as that, especially with that chemical contradiction. In fact, I think that even helped my case. I feel like I could leave right now, and you'd do a fine job of getting Chambers convicted. Yeah, I'm not sure if this benefits us at all. We still haven't heard a witness testimony from the guy who claims that he saw the deed.
Don't listen to her, Apollo. You did what you needed to do.
Thanks.
We both know that Chambers was telling the truth about the letter. That's why it matters now, the truth.
Yes, thank you. You're right.
We need to get that first, and you can worry about evidence later.
Let me state my opinion on this matter. Although the defense has introduced the possibility of the defendant being framed, he gave no supporting evidence. Yes, that's true. The defendant had a clear motive and there is substantial evidence against him. Yes, I realize, objectively, this looks really bad, and it would be uphill struggle to convince the judge now to continue the case. But okay, but we will fix it when we get the testimony of the witness. You may be young, Your Honor, but you are wise. Anyway, I believe the detective has given sufficient testimony. Okay. I will now call up my next witness, who will conclusively show this was a premeditated murder. Okay, let's... Oh, this guy... Oh, yeah, I remember Meekins was... I forgot that he was there. I thought there was the bald guy would be there, but... Okay, let's see. Witness, your name and occupation. My name is Meekins Prison. I'm a guard Mike, sir. I'm a prison guard. I'm a Meekins Mike, sir. I mean the opposite, that I'm a prison guard and I'm Mike Meekins, sir. Can I do that over? Yes, I think it would be better if you do. Please strike the witness's last statements from the record. Thank you. My name is Meekins Prison. I'm a guard Mike, ma'am. What is your IQ, Meekins? Is it between 69 or 96? I mean, I'm prison guard. My Meek is Mike, ma'am. I mean the opposite, that I'm prison guard and I'm Mike Meekins, ma'am. Yes, exactly my reaction. I honestly didn't see that coming. I didn't think he was that stupid. Just give your testimony. The sooner it starts, the sooner it ends. Thanks. It was premeditated, ma'am. Alright. I believe Meekins should be quite easy to break. But we'll see. I was on duty to make sure no unauthorized... again, I remember this from case 1-5. He said the same thing. No unauthorized personnel wouldn't be allowed. Which means all authorized are not... Wait, this is triple negative. No, and unauthorized, and wouldn't. Yes, so it would mean they would be allowed. Chambers looks suspicious, but I thought I had to let him through for 2 reasons. First, he was wearing a prison guard uniform, sir. The second reason was that he had hid him a gun only prison guards usually have access to. So either he is really a senior officer or the murder was premeditated, sir. And Mrs. Poole just said, the sooner we start, the sooner we're done. Please proceed, Mr. Justice. I have a TV program which I need to tape at 8 p.m. So if we could just finish this before 7, I would be there on time. Alright. Okay, is Apollo going to say the same thing as Phoenix was, that he's gonna unravel this triple negative? But that would mean you were to make sure that authorized personnel wouldn't be allowed. Yes, exactly. Boyoing. And since the defendant masqueraded as a senior officer, you failed miserably. Huh? I meant to say that no unauthorized personnel would be allowed, sir. But the defendant was actually unauthorized, so you failed in that respect too. What? Oh. Okay, I have okay, Miki said what, and I also say what because there is some kind of error message. Okay, let's see if I can continue this. I think this is kind of irrelevant. Let's just go on with the testimony. Boyoing. Chambers looked suspicious. Okay. Now what are these 2 reasons? And what exactly classified the defendant as suspicious? Well, for one, he had hair. Huh. Hair. Many people have hair. Yeah, me too. Yes, but his hair was at the bottom. Do you have problems with vocabulary, Meekins? His hair was at the bottom of his head, not the top. And this is called beard. Yes. Okay, you need to read a book, Meekins, please. I don't believe this. Still, bottom is the opposite of top. Just evil is the opposite of good. Were there any other reasons you thought he was suspicious? Of course. He was wearing a beige and light brown uniform, as if he was on a covered desert mission. Don't you wear a beige and light brown uniform while on a prison guard duty? But I'm not at the covered desert mission, sir. I don't think... forget it. It's not worth it. The defendant claimed to be your senior officer, yet you had never seen him or heard his name before, correct? If I had to label him as someone I knew or someone I didn't know, I would have to label him the latter, which means someone you didn't know. That, in and of itself, is enough reason for suspicion. Anyway, what was the first of these reasons? Okay. Reason number 1. Did Chambers show or say anything that proved he was a prison guard? He said that he had urgent work and his boss told him to get to Erlenmeyer's cell ASAP. And you didn't find it strange that you never heard of him before? A little, but questioning authority wasn't on the job description. Well, it should be. Besides, there are a lot of senior officers I don't know, sir. The important thing here is that Defendant was pretending to be a prison guard, not the witness's interpretation of the situation. His breaking to the asylum was carefully planned by the real murderer, if only I had that letter. Anyway, what was the second reason? Second reason was that he had with him a gun. Only prison guards have access to. There are plenty of things to ask about here. Let's see how. Okay, he doesn't know. Let's see how Meekin saw the gun. How did you take note of the weapon? Huh? I don't understand what you mean, sir. If most prison guards have one, why would you take note of it? Ah, that's a good point. Wouldn't it be suspicious if he didn't have the gun? Well, he had the gun in his hands and was waving it around everywhere. He even pointed it at me. I believe that shows that his mind was bent on killing Erlenmeyer. Actually, I think this changes the interpretation of a certain piece of evidence. Yes, this one. Chambers' fingerprints are on the gun only because he held it in his hand. It doesn't mean he actually fired a bullet. Ah, good point, thanks. Someone else could have fired it if they were wearing gloves. And is it relevant? How? What do you mean? How it is relevant? Because you had one sticking point in your theory is that because of the fingerprints he shot the victim. The purpose of this testimony was to determine if the murder was premeditated. Bullshit, yeah. That has nothing to do with it. Well, yeah. So why don't you present the evidence showing it wasn't premeditated? As a matter of fact, I will right when I get it, that is... she had me for a second there. I can't get riled up like that, boyoing. Fine, I will now call my final witness, an eyewitness to the crime. Fisher. Witness, you know the gist of Mr. Fisher's argument. I have one final question. Is his testimony plausible? When I left the cell, 3 people were there. Chambers, Erlenmeyer and Fisher. So his testimony isn't impossible, ma'am. Thank you. You may leave the stand. I believe we have heard enough for now. Mrs. Poole, I understand you are eager to call your next witness, but would it be okay if we took a recess? Of course you are. And I don't get to say this. No, the recess is fine. We will now have a 10-minute recess. Court is adjourned. It's 1:21 p.m. So let's leave it here. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.